Yo, what's going on, y'all?
It's good.
What's happening?
How you doing?
Well, we're back again with another Breaking the Narrative podcast. I am Tony.
I'm Teddy.
I'm Mark Anthony.
I'm Cortez. Nice to meet you all.
Shut up. Nice to meet you all. No, like you've been here before. You just didn't get an introduction the last time.
Hey, man.
Yeah. So, today's topic, I want to cue the Twilight Zone music, but I ain't got it. Okay, yeah. Mark, we appreciate it. We're going to be talking about almost like everything conspiracy-based under the sun. Not even just that, like, just supernatural, all of that.
Yeah.
And
Ghosts, aliens, chupacabras, are they real?
well, I mean, they actually have given like documentation that the chupacabra is actually real. It's more like a dog-looking thing.
I for one can say that chupacabras are real. I've experienced one.
Okay. Would you like to tell the story?
It wasn't too much to tell, but of course, you know, a lot of things happen in Deliverance. So, this is way back when Bowie was built over, you know, where Fairwood is now. And sorry for those who live there because there's a lot of supernatural things that's going to happen underneath your basement. But, so this was over on Church Road in Bowie. And so there was still fields and turf farms and everything like that. And that was actually the spot to go to, like Auntie's house down there on the farm. Well, this is the second farm to go to that was a little more closer to home.
Okay.
So me and my cousins, we used to do everything out there, all types of jackass stuff, all types of stunts, jumping off of hills and, you know, dirt bike tricks and everything like that. But of course, you know, we like to go through the woods, especially at night. And so I would say the sun was just now going down and everything. We were still walking across the fields. You know, we've experienced quite a few things. We think we've seen UFOs, you know, people disappear and then reappear. But so we experienced this very huge shadowy figure. It kind of looked like a hairless bear. Like, I don't know, I actually seen one of those. Like, look it up. It's just like the most ugliest little thing that you could ever see.
Yeah, I've seen a hairless bear before.
Yeah,
Technically, I am one, so.
Well, you have dreads, so it doesn't count.
Oh, okay.
I don't talk about you getting hairless either.
Yeah, I thought that was his way of just trying to say I was ugly, so I didn't.
You saw you then? Damn.
What?
How that
Saw you over on Church Road.
Probably so. Had too much to drink over there.
Hear him in the distance. Head ass, head ass, head ass.
But yeah, it was just really weird looking. Like, it kind of looked like it was hunched over. And, like, we was just trying to figure out exactly what it was. We didn't stick around too long to really figure out what it was. It was just like, you know, one of the moments like, do y'all see that? I know I'm not tripping. Hopefully it ain't just me type of thing.
Right.
And, you know, we were still in our youth. Even back in the day, you know, the fat boys can move real quick, too. So, you know, we all kicked it at that point. But it was a real split second. It was just like, nah.
Were you the fat boy or?
Nah, I was the fat boy at heart still.
He was
Yeah,
never.
not because he said we, so I didn't.
You know, he likes to lump himself
Nah, I
in
mean,
stuff. He
I
ain't
was
got no
pretty.
business.
I was just speaking on how quick we were.
Okay.
But, you know, it
Okay.
was some hefty guys out
So
there
this
that I
is-
used to roll with.
Sounds like quite the experience.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, when
It was brief, pretty
your
brief.
fear, when the fear is raging and you think you're seeing something that you never seen before, I can
First and
understand.
foremost, I know we ain't got no barriers in Bowie.
Yeah.
So,
So I can understand, like, you know, your speed going to another level, so to speak.
Yeah, them primitive instincts kicking.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something different.
Yeah.
and usually, yeah, we're the type of dudes that actually just like be curious enough to go towards the danger. We was just like, nah, not today. Like, for some reason, we just didn't felt the energy to.
Yeah.
Take
Because you
that
like,
one.
I mean, you like that kind of stuff now, though, don't you?
I have no choice but to get used to it.
Yeah. So he's like supernatural. So what about y'all? Do y'all like that kind of stuff?
I like that kind of stuff on my television.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's as far as I go. I'm not gonna be the type of nigga to chase tornadoes and all that other shit. Nah.
Yeah,
You
I'm not that much
Nah.
of a thrill seeker.
Yeah.
So no ghost hunters either.
No.
It's a cool show.
No.
Ghost
It's
Advent-
cool to watch
Yeah,
because I
Ghost
ain't dealing with the
Adventures.
shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it depends on what you mean by for ghost hunters, because I've been hunted by ghosts.
Well, I mean, like, you know, on the show they go around to like abandoned
See, that's what you got.
asylums. And, yeah,
First word right there, abandoned.
abandoned asylums and stuff like that. And
I
just
think people like explore places like that just for like mad curiosity, because it's just the feel of the thrill.
You know what I do when I'm curious about something? I Google it. And that's it.
Yeah.
I'm about to Google it. I'm not, because I feel like maybe it's just me being superstitious, but I feel like if you go looking for that shit, you're welcoming it in. I'm not that hospitable.
I get that.
I understand.
For me,
I understand.
like,
I understand.
and I'm not gonna act like I wasn't a person. I'm like, hey, let's go check this building out and stuff like that, because I definitely was.
yeah,
but for me, it was
that
just
the
like,
last time.
Yeah, you sound a lot like
you
that.
you actually wanted to go to a couple of abandoned
Yeah.
well, yeah, because I had ideas for videos, but
Nah, you was saying that just because you want to explore the hauntedness.
at the same time, it's like literally like naturally going to a Six Flags haunted house for me.
See, I wouldn't do that either because I'm a
So-
swing on niggas. Right?
Yeah, I would swing too. Yeah,
The fear factor ties
Like-
directly into violence for me because I don't do that. I don't do jump scares. I'm a swing.
because
I do
Because
haunted houses.
you grew up a certain way.
Yeah, you know what I'm
You
saying?
know what I'm saying? Yeah, like you grew up a certain way, and it's just like
I
it's a
don't-
reflex at this point.
Yeah.
Like,
Nah.
Well,
And
that
black
day,
people
I
are
grew up-
naturally
I grew up the
paranoid.
same way to like swing too, but
but you
I
like,
just
but you
kind of
like that
grew. I
stuff.
just kind of grew into glutton for punishment.
Yeah, see,
Because
yeah.
at first it was just like, nah, I'm not with it. But then secondly, it's just like, all right, now in certain spots it'll get too boring for me,
Okay.
and then I have to go find other places that is gonna top the last experience. Like even like when it came to amusement parks, you can't go to just continuously go to a haunted house at Six Flags and be like, okay, I'm satisfied. At least not me. I had to go to different parks. Like I had to go to Busch Gardens and be like, okay, well this one was better than the last time. I'm satisfied. Then it got to a point where it was just like, all right, well I'm gonna look on YouTube to find haunted houses that I got signed waivers for.
Yeah, so you seem like a thrill addict then.
Now I'm just like, okay, well fuck that. I want to go into abandoned asylums.
Yeah, you a diving with sharks ass nigga.
I don't want to
I
go.
don't think
I
I'll
don't want
go
to
that
go
far.
to asylums that are up and running. You know what I'm saying? So abandoned is out of the question for me. I wouldn't go to a fully staffed asylum. Fuck that shit.
Yeah, abandoned is his kryptonite.
And the
Technically,
funny
there's nothing-
thing
there's nothing
is,
good
it's
about
like,
an asylum, whether it's up and
Yeah,
running
yeah.
or abandoned or.
yeah. But it's just more fun going as a group. I would never go by myself. I would probably not even go if it was like two people.
Why not?
But at three, it would make a difference. If it was three people, for some reason, oddly enough, that makes a difference.
So why not by yourself?
I mean, because I'm not that stupid.
Like
So,
he
so,
was.
so you want to discover this stuff, but you don't want to
I
be the
mean,
only one that's cursed.
But
basically.
there's times.
Yeah,
that I-
he wanted the ghost to play the odds.
Yeah.
but there's times, like, I have
You got at least 4 people.
experienced things.
right.
You can try and hunt.
That sound like you want somebody to be there that you can outrun. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, you know,
So he
well,
could be-
first and foremost, if I have experienced anything, I would need somebody else to validate that it's not just me seeing it. So
No, he's saying like you want to see it, but you're also going to be, you're sure you're going to be the one to get away to tell the story though.
It's like,
Yeah.
if I go,
no, definitely, it's not like, hey, one of these. I don't have to outrun that, but I just have to outrun you moment.
But
No,
y'all,
not at all.
you asked us to go. You can outrun us.
Yeah, but I'm not literally going to intend to outrun anybody. Like
That's-
one of the moments I wanted to go for abandonment, literally it was like to film something. But if we was to happen to see something, it's like, okay, yeah, we all gotta get out of here. I'm not really thinking about why I gotta outrun you. Shit, I could be like one of them Beckys and trip over a rock, and it's over for me. So, nah.
But that's highly unlikely.
You'd be surprised. Anything can happen.
fear kind of tenses the
Yeah.
muscles. You fuck around and trip, yeah.
Yeah.
And, that's why I don't change it.
But see now, unfortunately, like I do go through things alone. So like, there's times like I'll just go for a walk, and oddly enough, like I like to go to walks at night. Like daytime is cool, but I get bored with daytime. So I like to go.
Hold on, why do you get bored with daytime? Because
The ambiance is not really there for me. Like I have to be in certain settings for the daytime.
Yeah, so there's like a paranormal presence in you there.
Again, like I said, I wouldn't say that.
No,
Like
I'm-
literally,
I'm-
it's just
I'm
like
saying
like
yeah, like
like nighttime is just like more chill for me.
So you got a passenger.
Yeah, it's a setting.
he said he
for
got a
me.
passenger.
You got a
Yeah,
passenger with you.
yeah.
I mean, I feel kind of like the same way with the nighttime though.
Yeah, like I like the sun under the moon and everything, the breeze with the moon and all that. It's just more, the ambiance is better for me at that point. And then it allows me more time to think. Like during the daytime, it's too much going on for me where it's just like, you know, and I have a little bit of an introvert with me too. So it's just like, I don't want to be bothered by other energies such as people. So,
but the other kind of energy is cool.
no, I mean, not welcome. It's just like, I don't intend for it to, you know, take place. It just happens.
Right. So but I'm saying you sound pretty accepting of it. Is what I'm saying.
At
this point, you didn't really. It's
kind of like I had no choice. At first, it's like one of the moments. Well, it's just gonna happen. So,
I mean, you have a choice. I mean, you saging up the room right now, so you know.
Saging up. Well, that's not sage. That's clove.
Well, clove.
And this is just purely for aromatherapy. Like this is just good smelling shit.
Oh, okay, so that's not okay. I mean, I guess I would.
It's like you lighting your candles, you know. I mean, I can't continue. Like, first and foremost, I gotta buy candles. I already got a whole bunch of bottles of oil. All I gotta do is add water and go.
Yeah, I have to get real candles because it's the dollar store candles, so you know how that works out.
Yeah, I think candles will end up bringing more energy than oil and wood anyway.
Well, not for my kind of energy.
Oh, what, the toxic kind?
Yeah.
Oh, well, we kind of experienced that the last time we did that podcast.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was real.
No, it wasn't. That's just Mike being an asshole.
Or so he thinks. Yeah, gotta use the deep voice.
So, my question to y'all is: y'all never really had an experience where y'all felt like it was a paranormal activity?
I have.
Oh yeah, he actually told us a story before. Like,
Yeah.
I don't recall. Mind telling that story again?
Yeah. So this was probably about 6-7 years ago. It's me and one of my bros. His name is Joe. Cortez. I know you know Joe. Joseph Anthony.
Okay,
Yeah. So we this back when I had a car and shit. So we driving and do you know what Ashton Heights is?
yeah.
So we're coming like from that area. So what we will always do, no matter who was driving, what we will always do, cut through the cemetery, come out on Pennsylvania Avenue.
I know you talking about,
Yeah, and then, you know, get here. So it's like late at night. It's probably like midnight, something like that. So we pull into the cemetery. Now I'm already skeptical. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, damn, Joe, it ain't gonna be nothing but the extra 3 minutes I drive around. You know what I'm saying? Right. During the day, cool. At night, So it's like, you know how when you drive in from that side, it's like a little, I don't know, it's like a little island with like, it's like water surrounding like this little
bridge.
In the little bridge that you walk. Yeah. So he says, yo, there's a lady right there in the white dress. And so I looked and I said, I mean, yeah, you know, probably was about to get married or something and significant other might have died. She just out here, you know, heartbroken, torn apart, something like that, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, all right. So then we driving through the cemetery and we about to come out on the Pennsylvania Avenue side. So we see her again. No. And I look at Joe and I'm like, there's no way she's faster than this car. and I don't know if that's real, what I'm looking at. Yeah. So I start speeding, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm doing like 80 down Penn Ave, and I'm like, yeah, Joe, whatever you about to go, I'm going to drop you off. I'm about to get the fuck in the house. Like, that's a little too fast from one, unless she hopped in the car right behind us, knew another shortcut, and all of that. I was like, so I really thought, like, that night we seen some type of spirit or...
Yeah, y'all niggas is brave. Because I used to live over Ashton Heights.
Yeah.
And any night that I look outside, I'd immediately think that, like, we would be doomed if there was ever a zombie apocalypse. Because it's cemetery on both sides of the street.
Right.
And we live in a high rise. So,
right.
Niggas is doomed.
You're surrounded.
Yeah, so I don't even think I've ever even gone over to that cemetery for real. Even having lived there, I've never walked over there because I'm like, nah, that's asking for trouble. I feel like anything dealing with the supernatural, if you go over seeking that shit, you're welcome in it. Like I said,
we just
one of the worst places
shortcut
to live at that actually has prone to supernatural, especially for cemeteries, our capital, and Annapolis. Like, there's like mad cemeteries out there.
Yeah.
I got a friend that lived out there, and like we just go around, and I just like realized like how many graveyards there are.
I heard like a lot of Benton Road is built over like old graveyards.
Might explain all the people dying there.
Yeah, I'm not big on cemeteries at all.
Me
But,
either.
like, I think the only time we ever went for like leisure is I'm gonna have to put the race thing out there when I was dealing with a white girl. You know what I'm saying? Still one of my like best friends to this day. But when we were dating, certain shit that we did is not shit that I'd have done individually.
Right.
Like so when we drove to Florida one year because she was birthday present was Universal Studios tickets.
Okay.
So we drove there. We stopped in Georgia. There's this particular graveyard there that's like famous because that's like the Little Gracie statue.
Okay.
I don't know if you know the story on Little Gracie or whatever, but I don't want to paraphrase and fuck it all up. But she has a bust there, and it's caged off, and kids come in like give her little toys and shit as like a tribute or some shit like that.
Okay.
So we went there to go see that, and like during the day, some of the like the structural shit is like it's fucking beautiful.
Right.
It's like very scenic, but at nighttime, no, I don't understand for that shit. Cause
Right.
I'm like, bro, we're in a cemetery.
Right.
There's no reason we should be here at night. We don't work here.
Right.
That's literally the only reason I'd find to be in a cemetery at night. Is
Could
if
you
I'm
do
working
that?
There. Working that one, depending on what they paying me. Depending on what they paying me, and I'm talking about I'm watching the happiest shit on Netflix during my shifts. Period. Because I'm gonna keep my mind off of the fact that I'm working at a fucking cemetery overnight.
Oh, that's a wild job. Could I do that?
Like I said,
Hell no.
depending
What
on
wage
that
would you
bread, because you
consider-
see the memes and it be like, would you work here for $1 million? Absolutely, I would.
Oh yeah, $1 million.
Yeah, absolutely. I
A
would.
million, yeah.
That's an obvious amount, but like on a real like normal amount, what wage would you really consider?
As far as hourly, all right. So right now the DC minimum wage is $15. It had to be higher than that.
I mean, you'll get night differential, and then you'll get whatever kind of job you. So you could keep your mind like I literally would be thinking about Thriller the whole night.
Yep.
See, that's why I was like, you gotta find something.
I've seen so many zombie movies.
Yeah,
you find something that'll catch your attention and hold your attention. Like I'm a big anime fan. I'd rather just tap into like a violent anime, and I'm like, all right, cool. These niggas is killing themselves. I'm thinking about that instead of like all the fucking bodies in the dirt around me. Like that'll keep me good,
Till a zombie taps you on the shoulder.
bro. And then, let me make it through my first check worth of shifts. You know what I'm saying? Let me make it through there, then we can split the diff. But like,
no,
no,
I have a whole Five Nights
so
at
how would-
Freddy's moment.
How would you feel about bringing like different energies home and all of that type of stuff? Do you believe in that kind of thing?
in a sense, but I also have enough friends that are like more so in tune with that realm, with the whole like, all right, we need to cleanse your spirit type shit.
Yeah,
like,
that's what Mark could be
sage
here
and all
for.
that.
Yeah.
Like,
So, could you see yourself being like a caretaker that like tends to the grounds at night?
nah.
The,
Like if I'm working inside, it's cool. Because I know the only time I got to go back outside is when I'm going to my car and going to fuck home. As far as like a groundskeeper, nah, absolutely not.
The last girl I was in a relationship with, she was like a mortician.
That's it. You gotta be
It's a different-
open to that type of
it's a
shit to do
different
that
kind
type
of
of work.
humor.
Yeah.
You're a different kind of human. Like she literally, and she loved it too. Like she literally loved like dressing up dead people and putting makeup on like dead people. And like when I worked at GW, and they told me to go take the trash out near the morgue, I used to be like, oh man, you know what I'm saying? Man, oh.
Okay, I've seen too many movies where they sitting on the table and they lift up.
Yeah.
Just that bag sitting up. I'm cool.
Yeah, man.
Be like the Freddy vs. Jason movie.
Dog.
Man, one time we was at work and we was like, I was a floor tech, so we would like strip and refinish the floors and stuff.
Okay.
And so we had to go in the morgue to get like water and stuff. And then it's like, I remember me and my man was walking in the joint and the radio just cut on.
You see?
And from that point on, he was just going to get water by himself. Because I'm like, Slum, anything happen, you might be all right. Slum, I'm not about to. It's not going to end like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, not at this job. I can't pay you. Like, nah. Any little thing I notice out of the norm, I just immediately stay away from.
Yeah, death wasn't even a part of your job description.
But certain people be like her, on the wall right there. She loves being in the cemetery.
You could tell, like, you could kind of pick up that vibe. Pick up that vibe right there.
Yeah, so she, that's it's known. I couldn't fade, man.
Neither could I really.
Yeah.
I don't think you could pay me any amount of money. To be honest,
I would be more open with aliens and stuff. But
yeah,
as far as
aliens are
I'm intrigued by them. So any like, if I was to encounter that, I wouldn't. I don't think I'd be scared.
All right, so
I've been wanting to.
I think it all
So
depends
what is it
on the physical manifestation.
Yeah.
Because like we got so many different ideas of what aliens look like. You know what I'm saying? So there's like the harmless versions that we see on certain shit, but then it's like a lot of motherfucking malevolent, evil looking fucking aliens out there in these movies and
Like
shit.
the actual like alien movie.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Or shit.
Well, if you see him, you pretty much know it's a rap.
Yeah,
You see that kind of alien, then yeah, okay.
I can't deal with that shit.
Yeah, this isn't. But what were you about to say?
No, I was just trying to find out what like everybody's take on that. Like basically, what do you really do believe that aliens look like, and like, do you even think they're actually here?
I do believe they're aliens. I couldn't give you a description of what I feel like they look like.
Yeah.
It's just one of those situations where somebody just had a good imagination. Like, yo, it's the same thing about dinosaurs.
Yeah.
So nobody was really there to see dinosaurs, so to speak. So we don't know what dinosaurs look like. That's what they sounded like.
That's what I ask myself anytime I'm watching them shows.
Mm-hmm.
Like, first of all, who came up with the name? Who came up with what it sounds like? Well, nobody back there to sound test these motherfuckers. You know what I'm saying?
And they didn't have nothing to record it.
Yeah.
So even if they did know what it sounded like, there was nothing to be like, yo, we're gonna bury this, and then when they find this, they'll know what dinosaurs sound like. You know what I'm saying? Like,
they took the necessary precautions.
Yeah, like
then the paleontologists that formed the bone structures together and shit. How do we know that's actually how they're formed?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
they could look like the thing for real.
It could be just a fucking amalgamation of different shit, and it's like, we put this together because it may look like that because it was this type of creature. You know what I'm saying? Or it thrived in the water, so it's got to look like this.
For all we know, they could be finding like that could have been human stuff.
Oh, those could have been the aliens.
Yeah, that's like, that too. Yeah.
But that brings me to my next question, because we all know that everybody makes movies and stuff like that, right?
Right.
How do you think people come up with those ideas?
Niggas got good imagination. I
mean, you really think it's just solely on imagination?
I think so, because if you look back at like fucking Orson Welles, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he did that radio cast.
Yeah.
And he was talking about the War of the Worlds and shit. I feel like he freestyled a lot of that shit, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Off the top of his head. And based off ideas like that, I feel like, all right, if somebody gets a general idea, this is probably what aliens look like. We gonna build this story around this visual. I feel like there's no way to know. I feel like that the universe is so fucking broad that there has to be other life out there.
Has to.
Like, it has to be. Because we don't even fully know about the creatures that we have on Earth.
Right.
Like, so much of the sea is unexplored.
Right.
And they're talking about, like, in certain depths, like how certain creatures are just grown bigger down there because it's like they're closer to the bottom. And some of them just grow considerably bigger than the creatures that are closer to the surface of the water. Mm-hmm. So it's like, I don't even know the percentage of it, but it's like a tiny fucking percentage of what we know about just our water and like there's certain creatures in there. We don't know shit. We haven't scratched the surface on that. Yeah, right. So I'm like, if that's on Earth, who's the fuck to say what's out there?
Right.
I feel like it has to be a life out there.
I believe it's it's like different combinations. Like the imagination of what an alien looks like. I believe it probably is types of aliens like that. But like you said, the universe is so broad. I believe there's probably other humans.
Yeah.
Like different places. Like motherfuckers look just like us. You know what I'm saying? Like just in a different area. Like so.
You tired of that shit? You think about, all right, we got paranormal, we got alien life. Then you start to think about it like, all right, what if there are like humanoid formed creatures out there.
Right.
That also makes you tie into like, all right, the whole parallel universe theory.
Yeah,
Which a lot of people believe in.
That
I
and also
definitely believe in
Nephilims.
it,
Like
honestly.
Nephilims are considered like the giant humans
Yeah, see,
that was predating the normal humans. So
that shit's crazy.
there's a conspiracy theory, quote unquote, that the people who were from Mars originally, they ended up dying out because they did the exact same thing that what they're doing to Earth now. So Earth was originally Mars, but since the way it turned out, they moved here, and the first people who were brought here, they say Adam and Eve, and they also say that was the big explosion that killed all the dinosaurs, was the initial crash of the spaceship.
You know
wow.
how that would fuck up the beliefs of so many people in church if they were to find out that Adam and Eve were aliens.
And it would kind of like give more of a belief in paleontology.
Yeah. But it would kill a lot of religious belief, though, because they're like, all right, well, God supposedly created the heaven and earth. All right, right, but did he make Adam and Eve with the knowledge of having, all right, well, we got to have a pod to go to this planet with to start and to sustain life on? Like,
Well, if Mars was the original Earth, then they probably, I mean, we have rocket ships and stuff now, so I'm quite sure they probably had.
so just brought that information with them, with that knowledge.
I mean, they really didn't need much though.
Well-
their whole thing was just to get here. I mean, it's nothing to have sex and
Yeah,
find
procreate,
food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
So I kind of had like a theory about that, and it was like since they say like black people, you're the original man and all that stuff like that. So it's like maybe the Adam and Eve portion was, well, that was the original white people. They showed up just randomly. I was like, wow. I just thinking about it in my head at one point, maybe that, because a lot of people don't really understand like where white people actually came from. It's like, okay, people like black people ended up going to like north, but to be honest, north, like if you look at the map, it's actually flipped. Like north isn't actually north, and north is south,
right.
and stuff like that. So it's somewhat believable that someone came from somewhere else and just dropped down.
So you think black people was already here?
Maybe. This is all speculation since it's just theoretical.
Okay.
So
then it wasn't no dinosaurs, or black people was just living with the dinosaurs.
yeah, or something of that nature. So like the missing link between human and animal, technically it might have just been just been us.
Right.
But then here comes the pod. It destroys a lot of things, like animals and stuff like that. Maybe it wasn't even the fact that it was like it wasn't an explosion. It was more like a radiation that only like the humans that we were like we could tolerate it. Or
Right.
maybe it was just we were at one point the Nephilims, so they ended up shrinking based off of the radiation.
Okay.
So there's plenty of different avenues that can go with that. So, and you know, just how my mind works, I don't normally have a whole bunch of like theories that I follow. It's just like I just create them.
Okay, so you said as black people were already here, theoretically. So would you say that Caucasians were basically like once an evolution of black people, and it would just basically change in pigmentation? And so now eventually like genetics had kind of like changed over time, and then now we end up coming up with different races, like changing pigmentations, hair, eye colors, all that.
I'd say so.
It is
Questions. Yes, it's a lot of questions that you have to look at because, like I said,
Yeah,
like
that is a good question though, because that would be like, if white people came from another planet, then how did they get Chinese people? And
Right.
or maybe it was Chinese people that came from another planet. which
I
is
mean, but
wrong.
it's like so many different races. If it was just black and white, how did it? And you can't. And if you mix black and white, they
It
say
doesn't
you
make
only
Asian.
get black.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, who was somebody sick, and did that alter the? You know what I'm saying? Because back then being sick was way different than
Yeah.
nowadays.
That's
Nowadays you get sick, a couple
Well,
days you back.
It's
back.
crazy.
Do
I
you-
don't know if DNA was altered.
I mean,
or,
did you see what the original Asians looked like though? They had the same eyes as the Asians you see now there, but they were a lot darker.
Yeah. But the thing is, now they're not. So somewhere,
That man about to knock the fucking microphone off.
Yeah, passionate.
Yeah.
look at the ancestors.
He wasn't Asian.
Right.
Full circle, came back to Ghost.
No bull. No, it's like, like over time, like how did it just happen, though? You know what I mean? I don't know. I guess if it was black people and they were all different races, then that would explain everything.
Yeah. The only reason how I came up with that question was because he was sitting there talking about how, certain people end up moving north. And so I was like, okay, well, kind of like animals, you see different types of animals based off of the season or where it is that they live at.
Right.
So we moving north, some people going south, east or west or whatever, like, we moving in the mountains. So pigmentation probably changed for white folk because they move closer towards the mountains where it's colder.
Yeah, which is what they say.
Where we're in warmer climate, so we're darker skinned and so on and so forth, and you moving somewhere east and towards Asia or whatever, and then so that's how you got the Asians, how the build of that race is different. Because,
Right.
We all got certain things that are distinguishing. There's like certain people where, like, for example, Middle Easterns, you can tell a Middle Eastern a lot of times by their nose.
Well, that's pretty much almost every race.
Like certain.
Yeah.
Certain. But, there's certain distinguishing features for certain races that really, like, you're like, hey, yeah, I could pinpoint that. Like, for example, like, I got a boss. I can tell she was Middle Eastern just by looking at her face and her nose.
Right.
Simple.
Yeah. 'Cause black people got like a certain
Otherwise,
nose.
I oppose to other people who thinks that she's Spanish.
No,
Yeah,
okay.
bro, I'm telling you, bro, like, just one theory or one thought can, like, bring in so many different questions and possibilities.
Yeah.
I always enjoy the idea of conspiracy theories because it's a chance to think outside the box. Live inside of a box the entire life, then you're so confined that it's pointless to be in it. And once you jump outside the box, like, it's a whole world outside. So much to do, so much to see. And people inside the box, you try and talk to them about it, it's just like, well, that's all they know. Try and bring them outside, they get scared to go back.
Or because, like, in my case, like, I would technically be in the box, but I'm more so of we can't prove any of this anyway.
Yeah.
So why waste my time on it too long? You know what I mean? Like, this podcast is really all you're really gonna. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like we could just be like, all right, well, while we doing this podcast, Cortez loading up the time machine. We're gonna get to the bottom of this.
I'll be back.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
Like,
was niggas.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was niggas.
So it's just, it's real cool to talk about. But at the end of the day, I don't blame people for not wanting to talk about it because it's like, how are you going to prove it?
And
That's because it just leaves so many open-end questions.
Yeah.
I enjoy questioning everything. That's my thing. I enjoy questioning it all.
We know.
Yeah,
We know you.
You get tired of it, but it's all right.
Yeah. I mean, not really, but we know you. Everybody right here knows you, so.
You definitely have an inquisitive mind.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I'm a writer. I have no other choice but to be. Oh, speaking of that, like, I have somewhat of a story that I'd like to let you guys in on. I think I told Mark about this at one point, but there was an instance where I think it was I say about a couple months back. I had a dream that I was in my house. All of a sudden, I hear like a loud explosion. It's dark outside and all that other stuff. So I hear explosions and I hear gunfire. I hear a whole bunch of stuff. Like, I don't know what was going on. All I'm thinking is, I hope my family's okay. And I walk outside, just, I'm not supposed to be, like, but still. You hear explosions. You stay in the house or you go somewhere where it's safe. I was trying to go get all the smoke. But I hear outside, it's a whole bunch of people gathered around, and they're talking to each other like, what the hell's going on and stuff like that. And then I hear somebody saying, well, this sounds really fucked up. It sounds really fucked up. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, the white people acting crazy again. I was like, the fuck? Wait a minute. What? Okay. All right, cool. Then come to find out, it's something like a riot or something of that nature that's going on. They're just destroying shit. This sparked somewhat of a how do I put it? Like it put me on edge for a little bit because when I woke up, that's pretty much all I knew was that. And I say about a week later, they stormed the Capitol building.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was like, what? Wait a minute, I dreamed about this a week ago.
Right.
So do you think that you're like a foreseer for certain things?
What? Talking about what was it? I think it's called precognitive. I think that's what it's called.
You're an oracle.
Something like that. But possibility, I mean, I do a hell of a lot of meditation and shit like that, and I've had out-of-body experiences and all of that type of shit. So
because I'm subconsciously, I've had moments like that too.
I feel like I had to.
Like where now they just put the word deja vu on it.
Yeah.
But I think it's a whole lot more than that because there's literally like instances where I've had conversations with cousins or family members or just like friends, and like I literally vividly see something like I'm living in that moment.
Right.
And then like maybe a month or two later,
It happened.
Like it happens. Like I don't know if you guys remember I was telling you about a story that I was having with my cousins that like we were just sitting there playing a game, and there was a game called Dark Summit on GameCube, and so I seen the whole thing. Like there was no trailers about it apparently or nothing, and then so I brought up the game to them, and they was like, "What are you talking about?" It's like, we don't have no game like that. There's no game like that. Because, I was explaining, like, it was a woman who when I surfboard and snowboard and all this X, Y, Z, blah, blah, blah. And then, like 3 months later, I'm seeing them playing that game. And I was like, yeah, that's the game that I was talking about. They was like, bruh, we never had this game. We literally just bought this game. This game just came out. And I'm just sitting there like, yeah, like, what's that all about? Like, because I'm literally seeing things like I'm living in that very moment, and I'm bringing it up, and I'm like, yeah, bro, I told you. It was like, nah, like, this literally just happened.
Yeah, they definitely call it deja vu. It's kind of creepy. When it happened to me, that should be kind You know what I'm saying? And
some people say deja vu is a glitch in the Matrix.
Think so?
Shit, I don't know.
Yeah, I need to glitch up and foresee the lottery or something. Like,
bullshit.
I had a dream like that.
I think that's what we call intuition now. Like intuition, really, I think is like a beacon for a lot of things that we can foretell.
Oh, okay. I mean, that would explain a lot, I guess.
Oh, I mean, we don't have instincts for nothing.
Kinda.
Yeah,
my instincts are kind of bad.
Maybe, yeah, it makes.
Well, they're not bad, but I go against them a lot. I
yeah,
say that.
We're aware. We're definitely aware.
Yeah.
Well, I'll mention the dream because I'm pretty sure you wanted to hear it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I ended up having another dream. I planned on writing a story about it, but I remember waking up, and for some reason, like my eyes, it was sort of like static.
Mm-hmm.
You know how at the end of a television show back in the day, like you'll get like a black and white. It's a whole bunch of like static on the screen.
Right, the little snow.
Yep. Yeah. And my eyes would go like in and out with a whole bunch of static. And I'm trying to figure out why the hell am I like I'm blinking and it's just static the entire time. This is a dream. I'm waking up. I'm in my room.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's bright in the room and everything. I'm just seeing static. But it's more like a third person view. Like I'm viewing myself, but I can also view the static that I'm seeing.
Right.
And I ended up laying back down, and I'm blinking my eyes, and then eventually I just close them back, and then I wake up. That threw me off. I didn't know what the hell that was. Like me literally waking up and knowing in my dream I was glitched the fuck out. That threw me off completely, because growing up I always had an idea of like maybe when you die you are actually waking up, or I felt as though I was asleep the entire time I was awake living when I was a kid.
Okay.
So maybe at one point I need to wake up. I don't know what I'm waking up from, but that's how I felt. and it's like all of it coming full circle in a dream and speaking in metaphors.
Gotcha.
I was like, oh, yeah, I'm definitely out there. I'm definitely out there. So, Cortez, you got anything else for us, bro? I'm pretty sure a real deep thinker such as yourself has something.
Yeah, nothing.
What?
As far as what, like,
No conspiracy theories, no.
I mean, I've spoken on everything y'all had to say about certain conspiracy shit. Like, I'm superstitious, but I think it's more so just not a fear of accepting the unknown, but a fear of the unknown itself. Because there's so many fucking unanswered questions.
Like what? Give us an example.
Well, we all have the question of whether there's life out there or not. But I feel like there are people here, government obviously, that know that shit.
Right.
And we don't get shared basically any fucking information. Like there's information out now. Certain FBI pages are like available for public view, but motherfuckers have known this shit since like the 40s, 50s or whatever. Like they say Roswell wasn't the first, and everybody knows Roswell as being the first. So it just goes to say that there's a lot of unknown, and depending on how you perceive that shit, it's either invigorating or it's fucking terrifying. I feel like I'm in the cusp of just being in the middle of that shit, because it's like it's terrifying to know that there's so much out there about the world that I thought I knew, and it just opens up a whole new fucking level, and it's invigorating because it's like there's so much more information out there. Like somebody who like thrives on learning certain shit, because I won't say I'm open to learning everything, but with that it's exciting in the sense that there's so much shit that we can learn, and there's so much shit that we could have known, but I guess they release information based on how the public will perceive it. Because if motherfuckers in the 40s knew about aliens, that'd have been probably riots, niggas like breaking into shit, nobody knows how to accept it, people break down, they fear what they don't understand.
Right.
So
let me ask y'all, my bad, I mean, cause let me ask y'all a question then. So if you feel like the government know about aliens, right? Do you think that they could control like what the aliens do? Like what's the odds that, you know, they catch every single scenario of the time that an alien comes to Earth without an innocent bystander being a part of that scenario at least once?
That's where the Men in Black comes in, I guess.
yeah, because I feel like there are people who have legitimately experienced these things, but they've been silenced, or they've been made to seem as if they're crazy.
Okay.
There are probably people in fucking asylums that have actually experienced this shit, but they've been diagnosed as crazy or delusional because of it.
Right.
So it's probably people out there that have fucking knowledge and shit they can share to us, but they're in catatonic states because of the government not wanting that information to get out until they wanted it, because they want to control the narrative.
Right.
That's what I believe on that shit. Like, I feel like there's so much information that is out there, and they're like, all right, we just want to spoon feed them a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there. This will wet they whistle. That's how I feel like the government plays with us with certain shit. Because there's probably proof of paranormal activity. There's probably proof of alien activity. There's the only shit I can say that we don't know is our own shit. They're so worried about figuring out what's out there that's why we don't know shit about what's going on in the ocean.
Right.
And it's just so much shit. So
The whole spoon feeding thing, that's basically like the government sarcasm. Like, yeah, we could talk about it jokingly, but can you tell whether we're real about it or not?
like shit, because if you think about the presidents that get sworn in, there's certain shit that even the presidents don't know. And they're like, the presidents don't run the fucking country. The government does.
Right.
The president is the face. That's the face that they put out there.
Well, it's actually the people. I feel like it's the people who own the government.
Yeah,
Because
it's that fucking elite.
Yeah, the elite group. Yeah,
They control what we're able to see, what we're privy to know and shit. I strongly believe that. So I feel like we'll never really have all those answers.
Oh yeah, heck no.
Because like even looking at documentaries, it's people that's been inside the government, inside these specific groups that no one fucking talks about, that have information, that are only bringing it out now because they don't have to worry about their lives being in danger because the government's admitting this certain shit.
Yeah, the UFOs and
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? They got information on it. They our government probably knows and understands certain like advanced technologies that aren't from us because of their experience with the fucking extraterrestrials. I believe that shit because like think about the technology applied to certain things, like certain camouflaging technologies. Like they have stealth bombers that aren't detectable on sonar and shit like that, or radars.
Right.
I feel like that's not from us, not all of it. Like it's people that are smart enough to have come up with like the radar technology and shit like that. But when you put a certain twist on it, like the camouflage and shit, what are they gonna say? Oh, it came from animal studies or like studying geckos and shit like that. Like I don't believe that shit.
Yeah, I mean the build of the thing, the build of what it is that they use, of course, it comes from animals, or that's an inspiration, supposedly, to like airplanes and jets and stuff like that. But like, how do you come up with the technology?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying,
to do that? Like we got jets that literally can fly right over us, and we won't know until they're already passing. They're already gone.
Yeah.
So like, well, how do you get the technology to do that? Like, of course, you can be inspired by animals, so to speak, but
Yeah, the
how do you get
technology
the
doesn't
means to do
exist.
all that?
So that stealth shit, I could see certain animals being an inspiration behind it, but the idea and the practice, two completely different realms of
like
thinking.
how did you do it? Like how did you make it happen? Like how did you make something? Like for example, invisibility. How do we didn't ever think that it's ever be possible to be invisible.
Right.
But they got something that actually does that.
And
like
at
how
one
did you
point
do
it was
that?
fucking laughable, and now we have shit that it's probably hiding in plain sight. It's probably buildings out there that are hiding in plain sight with this fucking cloaking technology that we don't fucking know. There's probably shit out there in the deserts. Nobody fucking knows about it. You stumble upon that shit. That's why they didn't want niggas raiding Area 51. That's why they was talking about shooting.
I was with
niggas
that
and
too. I was with it.
Maybe that's where mirages come from. Like the idea of mirage. Like when you get too hot, your mind starts to wander, and then you start to see things that you thought
Well,
weren't.
that actually does happen though. That's a very common effect of severe dehydration.
Yeah, but maybe you're seeing something that was actually there.
But
So
of course
maybe
you
the-
can't
maybe
trust
the
the
knowing that
government's
shit.
not going to take advantage of that.
Maybe the
though.
knowing that
Right.
your mind plays tricks on you when you're in a certain state. They're like, all right, we can use that. That's why the shit's out in the desert. Like, all right, if you walking out here, you ain't got enough water, you gonna hallucinate some shit.
But
saw
you
some
know
shit.
you know that also could happen here in the hood too though.
I mean, yeah.
whether if you're severely dehydrated, it's the same thing as doing shrooms. Like it's a gateway thing. Like
I feel like that opens your perception though.
Oh,
certain
yeah.
shit to open that perception.
yeah.
I feel like though, with even shit out here, like hiding shit in plain sight. If you put some like over there by where the cemetery is at, you know, the Census Bureau and shit over there.
Right.
It's probably more shit over there than we think.
Yeah,
Or it's
'cause,
probably
I mean, the Census Bureau doesn't need them 3 gigantic satellites.
like for
yeah,
what?
So, so like,
I feel like it's way more going on behind the scenes than we think.
Yeah, it's all more about being inquisitive about the whole thing. Like the more you want to know, the more curious you are. The more you can learn. And I think that's like literally what the government will take advantage.
but
of.
is that true though?
I mean, I think it's
like
dangerous.
it.
Knowledge has always been a dangerous thing because it's like, all right, if you get some, you're going to want some more, especially like depending on what the topic is on. So like say it's a lot of people out there searching for that link that shows us for certain that there's alien life out there.
Okay.
You get a little bit of like, all right, I'm on to something. Then you start asking these questions that maybe the government feels you shouldn't ask.
Right.
So that's when people go silent or people suddenly stop, you know what I'm saying? Because people get to them. I feel like the government's definitely threatened motherfuckers into like cease and desist type shit. Like, all right, I'm not about to say nothing else. These niggas can come in here, threaten to kill my fucking family if I post anything else online or if I ask any more of these questions.
Right.
So
I think there's a meter on whether that actually happens or not. Because like honestly, you can talk all you want. Like all of us right here, we can talk about that now. But they probably wouldn't even care that we supposedly have reached gold with this knowledge.
Right.
But it's like if we start to gain notoriety and actually have people who are actually going to listen to us, that's when it'll be like, all right, yeah, now it's a problem.
yeah, depending on the type of backing we'd have, we'd be an issue.
Yeah.
I feel like certain shit, they're like, all right, you know what? That's already information that's out there. Let them talk. But like, let us have said some shit in this particular podcast that wasn't known to anybody else.
Right.
One of us could get an email, phone call, a visit. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that. I feel like it's those powerful people in those high places.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah.
I feel like everything. We're in a fucking jungle gym, and there's borders around it. That's how I feel like the world is operated. Like we're in this encasing.
Yeah, one big hamster wheel.
Yeah.
Damn, that makes me want to actually be careful with emails now. Might end up getting an email. Yeah, you've been accepted to this job.
Get thrown on
You
the
get
government block
accepted to a
list.
job that you never thought you was going to get, and then next thing you know, you're too busy to say or talk about stuff like this.
Yeah.
Bro,
I definitely feel like it's ways to silent people that are more socially acceptable than like back in the day where you could just knock a nigga off and shit. Because they were just wiping people out back in the day.
I mean, but they don't have no problem. They don't have no problem paying you. They'll pay you to be silent. Like it obviously not for us because we know we're not.
We don't have
the elite.
Yeah.
Obviously, some people have so much money that it's go do something with your life, man. Here go 100,000.
Yeah.
Hey, stop talking about this. You know what I'm saying? Like, would you not take that?
I absolutely would take that.
Like, yes, this.
Because you got to think about how much money goes into the researching.
Yeah,
And you're paying
it's literally
off other people.
It's
like,
literally millions, like upon billions, that goes into. Which is why I was gonna say when you were saying like, when it comes to the technology thing, you have to also understand that the government or the people, the elites, they have otherworldly resources that we don't have.
That is true.
They're literally mining on Mars. So you could just imagine what they can do and what they, you know what I'm saying? Like it's out of our realm because we know we can never be like that, so to speak. You know, anything's possible, but so to speak. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things I feel like it's just trial and error when it comes to like technology. Like, I don't know. It's just, I get why conspiracy theories, I get why it goes the way that it goes. Because it's like it's two different ways you can approach it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
The hell with that, man. I'm say with my conspiracy theories, man. I think the government is hiding too much.
No. They're definitely hiding stuff.
They're hiding so much.
The technology, or one thing is this: if you actually were able to gain all the knowledge, all the resources to go, just randomly figure this stuff out, like astronauts and all this other stuff, they literally labeled as government property.
Right.
Like, why can't you just be like a person who was well enough to have a job, to have the resources to do all the research that you wanted to do, and not be labeled or somebody else's property because they want to keep you silent?
Well, I think more so it's about
controlling the narrative. Yeah.
I think more so it's about the money over everything. That's why you're the property. They're not gonna if I'm the king of Russia or whatever they got over there, and Cortez is
making the money is nice,
but no, you gotta understand that's all they're about. They're not like us. Like we're about having fun and things like. With them, it's money.
Yeah, humans technically are nothing more than investment property.
Facts. So if I'm running Russia, and Cortez is running like China or something, and I get wind that damn he almost developed something that's going to get his people to Pluto, I gotta either stop that, or I gotta hurry up and do it. You know what I'm saying? Like when they did the moon landing, which a lot of people think is fake. I may be one of those people. I may not. I don't depend on who listening. But
depending
on who listening. But before Neil Armstrong allegedly landed on the moon, China and them was going to be the first people on the moon.
Yeah,
it's all about like the money, because whoever gets there first, that's who NASA's going to back.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And if you got NASA behind you, we was talking about the telescopes and all that shit the other day. You get them behind you, now niggas is discovering galaxies, new galaxies. You niggas discovering new Milky Ways, and you know what I'm saying? Like they can see 100 million light years away and stuff like that. And now it's like the money's just free flowing, and that's just all they thinking about is the money.
Man,
Like,
shit, I don't care about who discovers the shit, man. As long as I discover it, or figure it out,
Oh, they're gonna let you do it once you sign the contract that you work for that you work with them though. Like that.
It's just all a matter of having the knowledge. I don't care if it was Asia, Russians, or whatever. If the research was shared out, or it's put out there for the world to see, I mean, that's all that matters to me. Is like actually being aware.
But why would it? Why? There's no reason. There's no reason to let you know about. Like, what are you going to do with the knowledge?
The information is power, and they don't want to share that shit with everybody.
Yeah.
Fair.
Or it's just a simple fact that you know how to get to Pluto. What are you going to do? Mike? What are you going to do?
Yeah.
You don't have not near dollar to get to Pluto.
Yeah.
What are you going to? Why tell you? Like that's just they're like I said, they're not like us. We could sit here and talk about. Damn, I wish I could go on vacation, but I can't afford it. We can do that.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no reason for them to be like, yeah, we're going to show you how to get here. They know you're not going to never get there.
Yeah, I mean, it technically should just treat the world as if it was a petri dish, and whatever's in it is in it, regardless of if it wants to be in it or not. And technically, with us,
yeah, that's how we look at the world.
yeah,
That's not.
Well,
they look
no,
at
no,
the
no.
world as.
no, because I look at it as a petri dish. Because the fact is, like the person examining it, that's where I was getting at.
Okay.
Like just the person examining it, they know that the person, well, whatever's inside the petri dish can't get out.
Right.
Not unless it forces its way out, because certain things.
Or they handpick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no other way.
Right.
However, with us, in somewhat of a nutshell, we're the things in the petri dish. Like we can't get out. Like regardless of how much we want to, even if we all funded our own spaceship, they take it away or find a way to destroy it.
They'll find there's some type of magical law or something that we that wasn't in the rule book before that's going to be there once. You know what I'm saying? Somehow, some way, it's going to go. We done something wrong.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Okay, well, I understand that the whole selfishness of having the knowledge of how to get to and from wherever it is you want to go. But I'm still trying to figure out what's really the problem of having knowledge of certain worlds, different worlds. Like, hey, fuck it. You don't have to share with me how the hell you build a rocket or whatever to get to Mars or whatever. But what is it that you discovered on there? Like, show us everything. Like, why is it that everything has to be a secret?
They don't want to open up the realm of possibility. They want specifically they want a robot. They don't want someone to think outside the box. They hate people.
They want their finds to be their finds. Like,
Yeah.
say the information was out there. We have people smart and innovative enough to, like, collectively come up with, like, all right, we've developed a way to talk with these people. Like, they put that shit out there. There's a mysterious death looming. And then the information is gone because now it's government property. That's the way I look at that shit. Like, if you come up with something that's super innovative, they're going to try to either buy it. If they can't buy it from you, they're going to take that shit.
And they know people when you don't have money, especially black people.
Yeah.
Niggas is the kings of being innovative.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, I can't buy this, but let me see what I could do. Let's get some aluminum for you. You know what I'm saying?
You saw there was a kid in Africa that built an entire robot out of like cardboard.
Right, like stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
So we got those people. but
yeah. So I'm quite sure. I don't know how, but like I said, it's not in my realm of thinking. I'm quite sure somebody could build like something along the lines of, well, this can function just like a rocket ship. You know what I'm saying? And it be like a good rocket ship without $1 million or, you know what I'm saying? Like, you watch YouTube for a good couple hours,
Yeah, like shit.
and you let the videos just like flow and play. It ain't no telling what you'll end up on. But
I think it's all just a power play for real.
it is. It's like I said, it's really just about the money. I feel like everything is always going to gravitate back to the money.
I think it's the money and the ability to claim it. You know what I'm saying? Like, to label that shit as yours.
Yeah.
Or if you got somebody in that circle of your workers and your constituents, then that's your shit.
Right.
You don't want to have nobody out here freelancing and they do the shit. Now it's like, all right, how we going to make this person disappear? Or how we going to make it seem like we came up with the idea?
Yeah. And it makes it keeps the topic a spectacle.
Yeah.
Like, cause if we all knew how to get to Pluto, what's cool about that?
And niggas is going Pluto every weekend. and shit.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, we discovered how to get to Pluto. So I can get to Pluto. You know what I'm saying? Like, It's. I think a lot goes into it.
It sounds like a major inferiority complex just to feel needed for knowledge right now. Like, all right, well, yeah, we the only ones who got the knowledge to do this, that, and the third.
I mean, that's exactly what it is. I mean, the people. I can't say I blame them, because I felt like if everybody had the opportunity to control the world, I felt like they would take it.
Yeah. Some people more than others, yeah.
So to me, it's basically, I would think it's just really up to all of us to decide that. Hey, sorry about that. But I really think it's up to us to really decide. Hey, yeah, we really want to go ahead and gain this knowledge, because for one, it's one thing to shut down a portion of the world. They'll be like, all right, well, yeah, we got to silence them because they want to know too much, or they're digging into too much. But if all of us really was up and to decide, like, okay, yeah, I want to figure this out. I want, maybe this, that, and the third. I'm gonna give it a shot. I want to, see what's up with this. Like, you can't control that, especially if it was like the entire world. If you have large portions from all over the world that's gonna decide to really dig deeper, how can you stop that?
Well,
You can stop it with fucking disease.
Well, not even that, because I want to get into something that we already talked about. So, remember earlier when you said the thing that killed off the dinosaurs was Adam and Eve?
Mm-hmm.
I once heard a story that Earth was well along how it is now, but people decided to rebel against the system, and that explosion was the elites bombing the Earth and then starting over with these underground bunkers and stuff that they have. Mm-hmm. So that would be the answer, like, to that. And you just kill everybody on the planet except for these certain amount of people, and you just start over all over again. Another 2,000 years, you know what I'm saying?
And it's not to say they don't have the power to do that shit.
Yeah. Well, right now, I think it's not going to be too difficult to really have it under control anyway, because we already got people who are talking on beliefs. Like, well, I don't believe this exists. I don't believe that that's real or anything like that. So you still got those large portions of people who are going to rebel against what it is that you're saying, because they haven't experienced it, or they're going to go through their form of denial. Again, like with how you were sitting there speaking, that people that are in hospitals and they're going to play on the fact that you possibly have a mental illness.
Right.
And it might not be even the case. That might actually be a real thing, but they're going to sit here and blame it on that. They're like, oh, well, you're just mentally ill, such and such, blah, blah, blah. So whatever it is to keep you shut down or keep you quiet. Like some people, if they can come up with a more humane way to do things instead of locking people up to keep people docile, they'll even do that.
Right. Well, it would come to the people developing like tons and tons of different avenues to combat the system. Like the system can, uses tons and tons of ways to combat the people. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like there's literally, for the black man alone, there's literally a gajillion ways for the black man to be set up to fail.
Mm-hmm.
So people would have to adopt that mindset towards the machine, where it's like, if we do this, we know the government's going to do. It's like a chessboard almost. You know what I'm saying? If we move this pawn right here, we know they're going to do this. We move this pawn right there, we're going to. But once we move right here, that's checkmate. Especially, you know what I'm saying?
For us black folks, Section 8 housing and all that was set up to fail. Right now, even, and quote me on this, because if I'm not alive today, I'm more late on today or tomorrow, the government got me. But because I'm about to say something too that really might even like put a little pin, prick the little fingers a little bit. But like even now, like the incentives, what even the whole vaccine thing, you're sitting here trying to buy. First of all, you're now using money as a thing to do what? To encourage people who basically might have thought, well, I don't want to do this. Like as far as getting the vaccine, like, yeah, I don't want to get the vaccines. There's some people who are like, okay, well, I'm thinking about it, such and such. Even jobs are enforcing to get vaccines. Now, that was one incentive, and two, now you're actually just giving out money. Like, yeah, you could possibly win $40,000 just to get a vaccine.
What?
And that to me is also a form of control too. Like if they would do stuff like that, then imagine what else it is they would take the time to control.
Yeah, I went when I first graduated high school. I got a job with my brother doing construction, and they used to pay us to get the flu shot. And the first 2 years, I did it because they paid you $30 to get a shot. And I'm like, yo, this is easy money. You know what I'm saying? Like, you get the shot, they got the cash right there for you in one of them little small envelope baggies. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, this is easy money. And then after the second year, I was like, but why are they giving away money just to get this shot?
Yeah, you're publicly being paid now to be a guinea pig.
So once I looked up what the flu shot was, I was like, oh, okay, that's why they were paying you, because who in their right mind would get this? But see, I'm fresh out of school, so all I'm thinking about is the money. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then it's like it's the same thing with the vaccine. It's like the first red flag should be it doesn't keep you from getting it. The second red flag should be it doesn't stop you from spreading it. Like, these are red flags for a vaccine.
Super red flags.
Yeah.
Fully vaccinated, still
like,
contracting.
we just want
Right.
We want to find out that this works, and we're going to have to find out the most inexpensive way and a good way to exploit it without it actually seeming like it's bad. So it's basically like kind of like being pissed in the face without them actually, owning up to the fact that they're doing it. It's like, signing a contract without reading the fine print.
Yeah. And it's very interesting.
And regardless of like all the red flags you get, there's people still out there that's like, you know what? This is for the greater good. You need to take it.
Yeah.
I've had conversations with my mom. Like she has it. Sister has it.
My mother has it.
And so I'm just sitting there. Like she asked me the other day, it's like, why don't you want to get the vaccine? I gave her a legitimate reason why. And then she's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. I gave you a reason.
It's just a deferring opinion. So it's
yeah,
like, nah.
Yeah. And just to keep it from starting.
To me, the only difference that it is that's going to say to me is that, well, it's going to hurt less, quote unquote, if I was to catch it.
But
you're still going to get it. It's just not going to bother you. Supposedly, it's not going to bother you as more.
Yeah, because people have to understand, like, it's suppressing your symptoms. So it can still hurt you very effectively. You just not gonna be reacting to it. If it's like, because it says they say if you got like already some type of health problem, it just enhances that. So let's say you got like a bad liver or something. It'll destroy your liver. You just won't know it because the symptoms the symptoms won't be as bad. And then by the time it probably does get bad, that's when it's too late. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I mean,
and to me, it's just sad because now we are taking to a whole new fucked up trend. Because the thing is, other shit is going to be discovered, quote unquote, discovered. Because like now they're saying a whole nother virus has developed and everything like that, which I'm pretty sure they've been knew about. But now they were like, okay, well, everybody took a vaccine for this. Everybody's getting vaccines for this. So now we're going to go ahead and expose this other strand of stuff that we're going to have to create a whole nother, quote unquote cure or whatever for. Yeah. And then we're going to expose that we're going to bring that to them the same way we did with the last vaccine.
Well, I can do you one even better since I'm like into chemistry and stuff like this. Getting the vaccine is basically putting the COVID-19 into your body to teach your body how to fight it. But by your body being like a computer, there's no guarantee that your body's going to learn to fight this.
Yeah, it might reject
it. It might accept it. And once your DNA accepts it, it can mix together and create a whole new problem. You know what I'm saying? And it's almost like how HIV is. You know what I mean? Like, it turns your white blood cells against you. Like, it literally could do that.
See, now that you said that made me even think, like, supposedly for those who are being injected with it, especially younger folks now who are still want to create offsprings, would that not pass it on to their offsprings?
Yeah, there's no telling.
Well, they did that with the polio vaccine.
Yeah, there's no telling, like, what this is going to do. This is really just trial and error right now. Like, maybe down the line, when they come out with, like, a super formidable vaccine, that might be better for, like, the older people. But I feel like right now, this is really just trial and error.
Yeah, like try putting Windows 10 on a Windows XP. It's not
something like that. Yeah.
Don't work.
So it's just. I mean, I just be into like little stuff like that. That's why
It makes sense. It's just like
yeah.
And then you look at the people who are backing it, and you just like I don't trust you as far as I can throw you.
Yeah, it's nobody trustworthy. Like you showing me the president getting it's not. That's
Yeah. And then the niggas who's like really backing it, like the person who's like the forefront, Bill Gates and shit. This nigga has openly said that he wants to like depopulate the earth. He literally said that.
and Johnson and Johnson of all companies, they get to make a vaccine.
Yeah, like they shouldn't even be allowed to be a company.
The same people that's dumping talcum powder and baby powder, got babies getting cancer and stuff like that, get to make a vaccine for a worldwide virus.
And Pfizer is actually well known for experimenting on the people of Africa.
So those are the two vaccines that you have to choose from: Pfizer and Johnson
Also
Johnson,
Moderna.
which is supposed to be the better one because it's the newer. I mean, I don't know.
I don't trust pharmaceutical companies.
Yeah,
At all.
I'll for the most part, I haven't had any serious health problems in my life, so I'm going to continue to bet on myself.
Yeah.
Here's another wild question for y'all. So, being that we got these 3 different types of vaccines, and my mind just kind of veered off onto like some purge type shit too. Supposedly, like the whole pandemic thing really kind of doesn't really come to an end.
Okay.
It's just like day by day, there's just new shit just coming out. But now we got these vaccines here to overcome them, and you got these 3 different names here, and you know how people are now, like right now, the government's just giving out money.
Right.
Eventually, we're just gonna be economically destroyed. Like we're just gonna be fucked up. Like it's not like we're not already, but so eventually, for the money flow to kind of still recycle somehow, do you think that people are now going to start putting price tags on these vaccines? Like, well, yeah, you know, the wealthiest people get the best type of vaccine here and such, and if you are now on this low level, like you are on low wages, you have to get, say, the Johnson & Johnson being the lowest one for
I kind of
vaccines.
feel like they already do that. They just not telling us. Like, I kind of feel
Because
like
I think that might be something that what they might actually lead to eventually too. Like, okay, well, yeah, you know, we got this new strain of virus out here, but now we got to make money. We got to still circulate, you know, incomes throughout the government. So now we're going to need people to pay for certain things. And if you want to go ahead and receive this type of benefit or this type of experience or whatever, this is what you got to pay.
right. Yeah, that's not that. I'm quite sure me and Joe Biden both not taking the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, no matter what he says.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way.
I
I
mean-
don't believe that.
COVID can be actually pretty much any disease can be fought off naturally instead of
Facts.
using these vaccinations. There's people who've gotten not even the vaccine. There's people who've gotten COVID that were able to defeat it with normal things that you can buy in the grocery store.
Yeah, I have a few people that.
Like, people don't know that colloidal silver actually helps. Vitamin C, vitamin D helps. Like, you need the sun.
Yeah.
Like, they keep you inside with the pandemic. They say, stay inside. That's a portion of your daily needs in order to combat it.
Right.
So they're giving you technically with the vaccine, they're giving you the antivirus, but they're taking away the natural antivirus so they can well market the other one.
Right.
And I just look at them just like, and y'all believe this? Y'all want people to take this? Like, the people who are backing this, not even just celebrities, it's just people in general, they're backing this. Like, if they're okay with that, I'm pretty sure. Like, if there was a term sheep, that's for them. I'm not even gonna lie, that's for them. Because there's no way you can have this much information at your disposal and still think that something like this is not meant to control you in some sort of way. It's not possible. Which I think is the biggest problem is the lack of wanting knowledge. Because we talked about this before.
Mm-hmm.
The older generation, they don't want knowledge. They just want what's normal.
Right.
As long as they can get normal back, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And they teach it to their kids. The kids want normal.
Right.
And the ones that don't want normal, that want more, they almost damn near shun those type of kids.
Right.
And I don't get it. But when you look at stuff like this, and you see, like, you can't fully blame them.
Right.
Because they were taught that.
Facts.
And there's no alternative there. But with people like us, it's just like, you know what? We're breaking it.
Right.
That's why breaking the narrative. We're breaking it. We're trying our best to do better for others and ourselves. So, anything else, Cortez?
Any final thoughts?
Yeah.
Government's fucked up, man. That's all I know.
Damn, bro.
They are. I think the whole virus thing was a control method. Because there's no way you telling me that there's certain things that are happening these days, like the water situation in Michigan, shit like that, that you have no answer, no response for. But COVID comes along, and in an unforeseen amount of time, far quicker than dealing with the Michigan situation, there's a vaccine. Like, I feel like it's all been a control ploy.
And money.
Yeah.
Because them helping Michigan is not going to make money. It's like they're going to spend money.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Whoever was the first to come out with the vaccine was going to be.
That's why I think it's a fucked up thing.
Yeah.
And that goes into, like, we were talking about earlier, like how the government would go about silencing if people try to unionize to gain information.
Right.
Shit like this. Like, you're wiping people out, and you're doing it to make it seem as if it came from somewhere else that you had no idea, and now we're combating it. Like, makes you look like the hero to the people who are fucking suffering.
Right.
And entirely you control the whole situation.
Right.
Like that just think it's fucked up. The government doesn't have its people's best interest at heart. And you could tell that in the responses during the whole during the whole quarantine, how certain people still haven't gotten their fucking settlement checks or their what the fuck was it called?
You talking about the stimulus?
Yeah, a lot of people haven't still got those. There's supposed to be supposedly another one on the way. That makes 4, right?
Yeah, this will be the 4th one.
Like, some people haven't gotten their first.
Yeah.
I know a couple of people actually.
Yeah, like, I'm one of them. Shit.
Yeah.
I got the first one. We on number 4. Like, I missed all of them.
Yeah.
But I just did.
I mean, the fact that it's been a year and a half.
Yeah.
And we're only talking about getting a 4th one.
Right.
That speaks volumes, because obviously we're in blessed situations, but to the people who lost their job, can't pay their rent, you know, like,
that's what pissed me off because I was getting unemployment at first because I lost both my jobs.
Okay.
I was getting unemployment, that they did the benefit, and I think like a couple people went crazy with the benefit. Me personally, I feel like I did. I got myself 2 personal items.
Okay.
That you were saying weren't particularly related to having this extra money in coming in, but I was paying my rent and my utilities.
Bought an antelope?
I bought a shotgun.
Okay.
Oh shit!
You need home protection.
I mean, technically, protection. Like,
I bought a
that's
shotgun
security.
and I bought a 9.
Security. Okay, all right, that's understandable.
Because you know, at the time they were talking about riots and shit, and then like the Capitol building. Like, we live close enough to DC, whereas like that shit could have trickled down. You know what I'm saying? I'm at the time in a 1-bedroom apartment by myself. Like, if niggas try to break, I'm on the ground floor, so I'm like, I gotta have something because I don't have one of the places that have bars on the windows.
Okay.
If somebody try to break through my shit, I'm a spaghetti they ass. I got a shotgun. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got enough rounds for that. I got a 9, and I got my swords and shit. Home Alone, my whole situation out. But people was happy with the shit. Some people went a little extreme, and then there was the whole fraud shit. So I'm not even particularly upset about that shit with certain people because it's like the government has been screwing us for years.
Yeah.
So they finally start ponying out some money. Niggas was like, "Oh no, I'm gonna get more."
Oh yeah,
So I'm not mad about that
I'm
shit.
not mad at that at all.
I'm mad that
Neither
they
am
fucked
I.
it up for people who weren't doing it.
Right.
But the fact that they cut that benefit and then was talking about these stimulus checks, and then the fact that the second one was half of the first one, that speaks volumes.
Yeah.
Like, you know, people are destitute at this point. And the first one was what, 1,200?
1,200.
So the second one was 600.
and then 1,400.
Yeah, so I'm like, bruh, 600? That's a smack in the face of the people.
And that was over the span of what, 3 months?
Yeah, I'm like 600. What's 600 going to do? That's utilities.
No,
Nobody's running 600.
We got the first stimulus back like last March. and we got the 600 in like December.
For real?
So that shit's
Yeah,
crazy.
because and then Joe Biden, he got in office and gave us the 1,400 like in February.
That was always gonna happen. It just
Yeah, they want to go do it right
Yeah.
away because they were doing the unemployment, and at the time the benefit was $600. So if my rent it was $1,080 at the time.
That's not even enough for rent.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
And
So
you gotta get food.
yeah. In Maryland,
we was
what
getting that shit
rent like
weekly, though.
1,300.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. Right now my rent is $1,144, and 2 weeks of unemployment would pay that. But then there's still my car insurance, my phone bill, my internet, my utilities, shit like that.
Food.
So monthly, I'm spending
Yeah.
on average maybe $1,500-1,600 looking at it, not including gas and food and shit like that. So I'm not upset about people abusing that shit, because it's like we needed that.
Yeah.
Government was finally giving us money. Niggas was like, I'm gonna get this shit because I'm now working. Some people have families of 5, 12. Like, it's a lot of motherfucking multiple child houses out there.
And
like,
they just started giving out
yeah, you know what I'm saying?
extra money for the children. Like they
Yeah.
just, a year and a half in, they just started
The
doing
response to this shit just speaks on how the government doesn't really give a fuck. Because there's so many memes out there of where the money could be going. Like, we have shit like fucking game shows that are awarding this amount of money,
Mhm.
and radio contests that are awarding this amount of money.
that. They're still doing the lottery.
Yeah, all of
They're
that
still
shit can be
ma-
applied
they
somewhere
still-
else.
like
They're
the
still
Mega-
making movies too. Like
yeah, you know what I'm saying? All that shit
the
could
Mega
be,
Millions
could've
are
been
still in
applied.
effect.
All that shit could have gone out to the people.
Yeah.
Or to the funds for like fixing that shit. But instead, nah. Like, all right, y'all suffering, but your game show's still gonna come on at 8:00.
they
Like,
were finding more and more ways to take away money because you niggas ain't have fucking Paramount Plus.
bruh,
Like Apple TV like jumped out of nowhere, and then you get like HBO Max. It was been around for a break, but it was never like this.
yeah, and then like certain streaming platforms tried to look out as well as they could.
Yeah,
Like, I remember the first couple months of that shit, Xfinity was like, "Now y'all straight. We ain't gonna hit y'all head."
Right.
But then like afterwards, they was like, "All right, shit back up." It's like my student loans shit ran back up.
Right.
Fucking car insurance. They was like, you know what?
Yeah, I heard.
$80. You good? $80. I'm like, straight. Now now my shit low again. But the fact of the matter is they don't really give a fuck, because it's so many ways they could have gone about relief for the people, and they bullshitted on. Like, there's no reason that the upper echelon in the government needs to politic how much we are able to get for unemployment and shit like that, or the stimulus checks. They argued for that shit for months, telling us that $1,400 was too much.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you got $1 million home wherever the fuck y'all live at. Y'all niggas don't have to work. You just gotta come and yell at each other.
yeah.
Right.
You
They
get paid bread for that shit, but $1,200 is too much for a stimulus check.
They would come in, have a big disagreement, and then say, "Yo, we need a month off
Yeah,
from each other."
and they still get bread for it.
Yeah, we're gonna take a month off from each other and then come back and talk about this again. Get into a disagreement because remember, like you said, it took about 3-4 months just to
Yeah.
get to 600. Like,
And they agreed on numbers,
Yeah.
and then they was like, "Nah, that's too much."
Yeah, they're all salary based, bro.
Dog, that shit,
Like, I actually
that shit is savage.
my uncle told me a story about the people that work at like in like they work in the government and shit. Like, they actually only have to meet up maybe about 4 or 5 times a year. Like, they work like 4 or 5 times a year, and then they get paid like 6 figures.
That shit is crazy. But we couldn't get $1,200 stimulus checks the second time around, and even $1,200 is like a low. Like, considering everything everyone has to pay for, that's a low number.
Yeah, they should.
unless they would have did it consistently,
Yeah,
1,200 would work. If now they was like, yeah, we just gonna get out 1,200 a month. Going forward.
if their argument is, "Oh, that's too much money to be ponying out repeatedly," again, look at the game shows. Look at
Yeah.
all the shit that they're throwing money away, literally. Survivor, who the fuck needs like?
They literally, the Mega Millions is literally like 400
Bruh.
And
million.
you look at how much money they spent on the vaccines. Consistent amounts of money.
Yeah.
And the amount of money that's actually going out to weapons and all that shit that's going. They're pushing out more weapons to other countries.
Yeah,
So
like, that nigga signed a multi-million-dollar fucking weapons deal, but reneged on the fact that he was going to do student loan forgiveness. Like, that shit doesn't add up. It doesn't add up to me. That showcases what a lot of people think that are in the fucking just saying that the government doesn't give a fuck about us.
Nah, it's all, like I've been saying the whole episode, it's all money.
Dog.
It's money based. Everything, like they're not thinking like humans. We're thinking like rational humans. They're just it's a machine.
That's why niggas want to go to Canada. They treat their people so goddamn good up there.
It was at $2,000 a month,
Bruh. Yeah.
Well, unless you black, though, it's a difference.
I mean, shit, even it. There's black rappers in Canada living it up. Like,
yeah, I'll take $2,000 a month,
You
and
know what I'm
then they already know for maple syrup
that
and
hospitality, bro.
Shit. Canada has a really effed up history if you dig a little deep.
I mean, what place doesn't?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's also true. America has its it has a lot of it.
America's built on fucked up history.
Yeah, quite
Yeah,
sure.
that they're trying to take away and say we can't teach anymore.
They haven't been teaching us what we need to know about ourselves at all, ever. Like, it's never been a thing.
Facts.
You're a slave. That's it.
Even African American studies, like, doesn't teach you everything.
I'm quite sure a couple hundred years from now, like white people would have been slaves and not black people.
Bruh.
Like, the whole narrative would be
Whitewash that. To
Yeah.
whitewash slavery.
Yeah.
They already. You saw what they did in Nefertiti. It's gonna be just like that. They go. I think like I had a theory like they was gonna do the exact same thing to Michael Jackson and turn him white, because that's the reason why when he dies they only post a picture of black Michael Jackson,
yeah.
and his kids are all white,
Yeah.
and they're gonna like his bloodline is gonna be like, oh, this is Michael Jackson's bloodline, and all of it is just white people.
That shit is sad.
Yeah, I just thought about that, and they treat him. They're gonna treat Michael Jackson like they did Nefertiti. It's gonna be like sooner or later, like it's gonna get to a point where they're just looking at it like, well, we can turn him into a white person now.
Yeah. And he had the little the White Thriller album.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like either that or they. Oh yeah, like that was kind of remind me like the little Lionel Richie jump.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a real tough sell, but they'll do it.
Yeah, it'll happen. It won't be a tough sell. It'll happen. They move with everything else. It's up to the people to fight it, but at the end of the day, history outlives people. So, unfortunately, that's how things work.
Yeah. Now,
But-
Mark, you have any final closing words, sir?
At this point, I think one of the morals that I picked up from this conversation is it really is up to us to really take the time to decide on whether or not we're actually going to explore more and try to figure out more. Whether it's history, black history, or, any quote-unquote conspiracies, we really just need to go out and do our research for real. Because, if you really want to know and you want to get it, then, you can figure it out. You don't need to rely on anybody else to give it to you. You probably get just the tip, but, it's totally up to you of how far you go. Mike's face right now.
Yeah,
I thought about
because
saying
I'm looking at his face. I know he won't say it.
But yeah, it's really up to you how much it is that you figure out. Because like I said, you can get just a little bit, but it's totally up to you now. After even getting that little bit to go further beyond and figure out other stuff. So dare to be different, have a free mind, and go ahead and care to explore. Because really, ain't nobody going to tell you everything, especially the government. They're not going to tell you shit.
Yeah, completely understandable. Very good closing argument there.
Definitely.
As far as closing statements are concerned, I really don't have too much of anything. But not unless you guys like to hear a story or something. But that's kind of like tying too far into it.
Yeah. I don't have any closing.
What?
no
Oh, you?
statement or nothing.
Oh, you're okay? Okay.
I'm good. Yeah, I closed.
Okay.
Government ain't
Well,
shit.
he did it. So.
Yeah. No, I'm saying if you're okay with it, I'll jump in and say something. But other than that, I'm kind of cool.
But we're kind of
That's
working
it,
with
the
time
floor is
constraints,
yours.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
That's the reason why.
Yeah. So.
But since this has been a very good and productive podcast. Like Cortez has done a very good job. Mark, very good job.
At least on this one.
Oh yeah. At least on this
Yeah,
one.
did a good job on
I
this
ain't definitely had nothing to say on the last one, so I ain't care for it.
Yeah, let's not talk about that. We'll let that one drift in the wind.
Yeah.
But this has been another Breaking the Narrative podcast, and oh, that's the FBI at the door. I'm Tony,
I'm Teddy.
I'm Mark Anthony.
Cortez.
and we out of here.